Well, welcome back, another episode. Thank you so much to everyone on our socials that sent us a question. As you can tell by the title of this video, we're going to be doing our first ever Q&A. Thought it'd be a bit of fun to see what you guys had to ask us, and hopefully we can give some good questions that you won't get too mad about.
Yeah, and thanks so much for all your support. This is just a little way of saying thanks for the end of this year, which has been a great year for the channel. We're up at 444 subscribers, something like that. So we're pushing on. Thanks for watching, and so let's dive in and answer your questions. This one's going to be a bit more laid back, I reckon.
Yeah.
All right, Brady. Answer.
What?
Bradley.
Did you say Brady?
Brady.
Get out.
So don't call him Brady.
Now, we did actually get quite a few questions across our social media platforms, which was great. Doesn't mean we're going to answer all of them. Hopefully we can answer most. But anyway, let's get into it. We'll go with the YouTube questions first. Thanks to Rodney on YouTube. He asked us, how would you rate the quality of the A-League, that being player signing, standard of play, marketing, compared to previous seasons now the A-League is independent? And what do you feel is needed to continue improving the game? Bit of a mouthful there. But
Has this year been heaps better than previous years now it's independent?
Yeah, we've only had about we've only had about 6 rounds.
Short answer, no. I don't think it's better. I think the APL takeover hasn't seen this amazing new era. Sure, we've got a new TV deal. I think we're stumbling. COVID's also impacting. So I think it's too early to say it's been an awesome move. I think in the future it will be way better, but at the moment, no, I don't think this season is any better than last season.
No, and last season was really great. I think it was one of the best seasons in quite a while. And the other part of the question, what do you feel is needed to continue improving the game? Well, I think just the transition coming in from going independent is going to be a slow journey at the start. I think it just will naturally improve in a couple of years' time, just because it's a new era for everyone running the comp, and it can't get any worse. Or maybe it could.
I think to improve, we need deeper competition, and that kind of covers all things. We need a transfer system. We kind of need to drop the cap or radically change how it works. And I'd like to see a bit more penalty for teams being bad. Eventually, Pro Rel, I think, is the biggest improvement that the A-League can make. And so I think we'll be waiting a while on some of those. But
and maybe some more teams just to make a fairer competition. At the moment, we play 26 games, and some teams are playing each other 3 times. So if we can get up to 16 teams, that's 30 games, and we can go from there.
The more competitive the league is, the more that's at stake for winning or losing. I think the better the football, the excitement, the package, the entertainment value. Yeah.
All right, we'll move on from this one, from that one, and go on to a more exciting question, I think. The Homer Legend, a great name, on YouTube has asked us, what would a Bathurst or a Central West A-League team be called?
Ooh.
It'd have to be Bathurst Athletic, wouldn't it? Yeah. Our boys.
Yeah, absolutely. Hang on, I've got one here. Bathurst Athletic.
Yeah, how good?
Very nice. Yeah, that's the dream. But yeah, more realistically, I don't like broad kind of area names. So I think Central West FC is a terrible kind of name.
You'd have to think of something better.
I prefer it just to be Bathurst Football Club or something like that. Represent this area. I don't know. Orange is probably a little bit bigger. Dubbo as well, but mate, Dubbo would be hot in the early summer.
And the trip out from Sydney, gosh, be like.
Well, you can fly.
Yeah, but no one wants to fly to Dubbo.
On a Rexy plane.
Imagine the plane getting spiked as it lands, someone slashing the tyres.
Absolutely, Rex could be the sponsor though, regional airports. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, Bathurst FC, Bathurst Athletic.
Yeah, no, you just can't go FC. It's so boring. You gotta give it a nice name like Athletic or Town, Bathurst Town, Bathurst City. I don't know.
Yeah,
Bathurst Bandits.
Or Panorama.
Gross, get out.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah, Bathurst Racing Team.
Maybe bring back the Bathurst 75 name. A lot of people know the Bathurst 75 name.
Classic.
If you remember from quite a while ago in the State League. Let's move on to The Gunner on YouTube. Do you think active support should be one of the A-League's main marketing strategies? 100%, yeah. 100%. You know, when you watch the ads on TV and you see the crowd going wild, or just the active support in general, it just, you know, it's a good buzz, it's a good feeling, and you know that should be the selling point for sure.
Absolutely. I think somebody requested it on Twitter. There was a view from the most recent Melbourne derby, Victory versus City, of D'Agostino's goal, and it was from behind Victory's kind of goalkeeper. And so you could see the North Terrace kind of in the background, and the A-League kind of retweeted it and posted it on all their socials of the whole video of like from the back, the counter attack, goal in, and the limbs in the background. It was unreal, and it's like those pictures. That's our selling point. You watch the Big Bash, and the crowd is boring. They have to play music to get them excited. You watch NRL, and people go, Tigers! It's crap.
No one's cheering the Tigers, buddy.
AFL has a bit of fan culture, but it's nowhere near what the A-League has. We have something special. That experience, getting people to games, even pumping it up on the TV.
It's just it's a unique aspect. Like you look at any other code of football, they might get fans, but it's just it's nothing like it. You know, we probably get the smallest crowds out of the second smallest crowds out of all the football codes. But it sounds like 3 times the crowd. It sounds like a packed MCG on AFL Grand Final day, and you know that's exciting, and it should definitely be our selling point. And I think also we need to improve our relationship. You know, a lot of people have been burnt. The active support community's been burnt in the past by really FFA not standing up for them when they got absolutely hammered in the paper. I'm not going to mention the paper's name or the scum that wrote it. But I think it's improving. You can see that with the Northern Terrace, that's improving. And hopefully, active support, promotion, that is the way forward.
I think the one thing with that is the A-League has in the past kind of gotten stuck between wanting to promote the fan culture, but also make it a family-friendly event. And I agree with that.
It's hard.
It has to be fan-friendly. You want kids to aspire to jump in, active support, and love that. But we could probably drop some of the swear words. I don't think they're particularly needed. You know, I don't think you can erase that. I think that's always going to be part of chants and football chants. But I think just finding that way to marry it, because Australia, the general public is a little bit like, oh, they're just thugs. And if you're sitting there swearing and all of that, and fighting, that's not a highlight of the active support. Absolutely not. We're not Green Street hooligans. Support your team, do it passionately, but keep that crap out of it. And I think then that will. And
we've seen on social media the past couple of weeks of Northern, like a lot of Melbourne Victory fans, really like getting into the other active support and trying to stir up stuff. And it's like
a bit average.
Worry about your own team, mate. Who cares if the other team doesn't have as many fans as you? I mean, when Melbourne Victory probably have the biggest supporter base in the country.
Oh yeah, by far.
Of course you're going to outnumber them. Just get off your high horse and just support your own team. Yeah. But anyway,
support your team and leave it at that, and then the A-League will flourish. But absolutely. Thanks for the question.
TSG on YouTube has asked us, how can the Brisbane Roar improve?
Ship out the entire squad and get a new one.
Potentially, it's they're not going great, and as a Wanderers fan, it's great to see someone. Well, actually, it's not particularly great to see them not getting the attention, because they've actually been a lot worse.
Look, I think Roar are in a tough position. Their ownership isn't particularly interested in actually funding their football team, and so we know there's a bit of they probably like better owners than the Backeries at the moment. So I think if you get, and I think that's with all A-League clubs, you get owners who are actually invested, who care about their football team, you see them make good decisions, appoint good people, and things happen well. When you get owners who are in it for money, or in it for money laundering, or
they're in the wrong sport. Make money off A-League.
You know, if they're in it for the wrong reasons and they don't actually care about football, you see that, and I think that's maybe what's happening to Brisbane a little bit. Also, if they can truly make a home somewhere in Brisbane, if the government could give them a boutique stadium in the centre of Brisbane somewhere, I reckon that would go miles towards improving.
Or even
the
if these
experience.
Backrees guys could help fund it.
Yeah.
If they went to government, we'll pay for half of it if you give us half of it.
Yeah.
But you know what the situation is, Queensland, with their stadiums? It's like they control like every stadium.
It's pretty much the same.
And I don't think they would invest because they're like, oh, we want a rectangular stadium. It's like, well, we've got one at Suncorp Stadium, just play there. But then obviously the rent was that high and they weren't getting enough fans there to justify it. And so maybe that was the reason. Well, that was the reason why they moved to Dolphin Stadium. So
I think that's the thing. On field and off field, people like to think they're separate, but they're really not. I think actually when things are going well off field, things go well on field. And so if Brisbane can find a way to figure that side out, it might actually help players want to turn up. It might help them have a bit of pride in the team. They've gone for young players this season. Good on them. Warren Moon definitely believes in his youngsters from Brisbane. I just don't think they've quite done it as well as someone like an Adelaide, although Adelaide are down at the bottom of the table too, or other teams who have invested in their youth from their area. So, I think it's not all doom and gloom for Brisbane.
Yeah. All right, Practical Dave, thanks for being so practical and sending us a question, mate. He's asked us on YouTube, do you think the A-League is following the MLS? And I think we'll do our best to answer it because I think the question is quite vague, but I don't think so. But I think they should, because I think both the USA and Australia are very similar, where football is not the number one sport in both countries, and both countries are very big. And I think both will probably, for the time being, favour a closed shop system. And I think there's a lot to learn from the MLS. I think the way they've expanded the competition in the past 10 years, the way they've made sure teams have their own stadium or boutique stadium. Not every team has their own boutique stadium. Some have deals to play at NFL stadiums, and that's okay.
Or baseball stadiums.
And let's not talk about New York City. That's a bit of a joke. But I think it's definitely a model we should be following, because people say the MLS is a retirement league, and I think no. I actually think the quality in MLS is actually really good. It's a really good competition.
Did you see the two signings? Insigne is going there next season. That's huge. He's leaving a really good side.
Where's he going? What's the team he's going to?
I can't remember what team he's going to.
Toronto, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the joke was Insigne asked to fix the spelling mistake on his contract to Torino. But yeah, that'll be a great signing for Toronto.
Yeah. My take on this is obviously the MLS started 10 years before the A-League, and there was a period around the Del Piero, Heskey, Ono era where it looked like we'd closed the gap to how MLS was performing to what we were doing, and we were looking really good. And then I don't know if the MLS saw that and went, oh, we need to kick into gear. Maybe they don't even care about the A-League, but the A-League stalled and the MLS took off. Yeah. And in the last 5-6 years, I think Atlanta United really, they came in, and that all of a sudden just boomed the MLS with their awesome Mercedes-Benz Arena. They just kind of changed the game, and all of a sudden in the last 6 or 7 years, the MLS has exploded. Heaps of teams, well-funded teams, fans are turning up. It's really taken off, and so I don't think the A-League is quite at that level, but there's lessons to learn, definitely.
Yeah, you talk about Atlanta though. Seattle Sounders before that had been pulling great crowds. Portland Timbers had, outside of COVID, had sold out every single game they had played. And the MLS also went through a really bad period at the start of the century when I think the USA missed out on the World Cup, or they went really bad at the World Cup. And it was kind of a make or break time for them, and they've really turned it around. I think his name's Don Garber, the guy who runs the MLS, and I think their process for expansion is a really good model. Mind you, they have a lot more cities to pick from than us. We only have really a handful of cities, and really the majority of it is on one side of the country. But yeah, I think MLS is great. I don't love conferences systems, but I do understand, you know, it's a big country and you've got to reduce the travel. But yeah, I think we should be trying to follow their model as best we can.
Are we following them? Not particularly. Should we? Maybe.
Yeah. Sean on Twitter.
Yeah.
Your mate, he's the FM player, isn't he?
Yeah, Sean has a bit of FM.
What was the biggest challenging starting Athletic from the ground up? So
yeah, obviously, hang on, I've got my
for the people who don't know, obviously we co-founded a club here in Bathurst.
Yep.
Just not like a 7-a-side team, like an actual club that plays actual competitions on the Sunday.
Yep.
Called Bathurst Athletic, and what was some of the challenges, Samuel? What do you reckon?
Our very first season, challenges was just actually finding people who wanted to play football, would turn up, and had quality. And we had not a lot of that. I think we only had like 4 people who'd played football in the previous like 5 years on our side. So our first season was really difficult. We got slaughtered all year long. We won 1 game, and yeah, it was pretty rough. And then we actually took 2 years off. I moved away. Another fella who started up with us moved away. And then the second time we started up, I moved back to Bathurst and messaged Bradley and said, "Go on, let's do it again." Yeah. The second time we were much more organised in just finding people who had the desire to just play football. And we were playing 4th grade in Bathurst. It was nothing massive, but just a bit of direction in getting people interested and involved in the club. And I think that's been an ongoing challenge. Brad does a lot of the running of there's a lot of admin kind of on side, and if you've got a good committee in your competition, that helps. But BDF have been quite helpful for us in getting things started and helping us out. But you need somebody who's willing to do some of the hard work, and then you just need people to buy in so that it's not just, you know, a couple of people's club, but everyone's club, and that helps kind of grow it and getting that culture right too. You know, not just inviting anyone to play, but you've got to at the start be a little picky. Even though you want players, you need to find people who will build a good culture, because that will then help people stick around, I think.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I think definitely trying to get players, because I think for Bathurst compared to other cities out here like Orange and Dubbo, I think we have a lot more teams.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so there's a lot of loyalty to other clubs, and I get that, and it's hard to get players to come to your club, and so a lot of the time we are recruiting leftovers from other clubs or people who've never played before, and that's what I've really enjoyed about the club is getting people that aren't playing football or have never played football actually playing the sport, because at the end of the day that's one of the greatest thrills I get from it, is seeing players having fun playing their football. Even though this year wasn't particularly great, it was probably our worst season, and probably since that debut season. But I think that's the challenge. And then just money's always a challenge, sponsors and just running it all. But it's good fun. I wouldn't want to go play for anyone else. I don't know if I'd want to play football if for some reason the club fell apart.
Yeah, absolutely. It was at a time when I wasn't enjoying playing football, and playing with my mates kind of reinvigorated that love for it. Just enjoying turning up on a Sunday, hanging out with your mates, laughing about the game afterwards at the pub. There's some awesome things. So highly recommend it, but you've got to have people who are invested and keen. And if you're in the inner west of Sydney and you need a slow central midfield defender or striker, hit me up. I'm looking for a new club next.
Ipia Larkar, 1st grade coach. You hear him?
Please sign me.
Moving on to Broseph on Twitter. He's asked us, who are your favourite Australian footballers of all time? How much time have we got?
I wore my Pasty Perlo shirt that I got for Christmas. Very nice. Aaron Moy. He's definitely up there what he's done for the game. And also Tom Rogic recently is a big favourite of mine. Who are your kind of current favourites for Australia?
Definitely Aaron Moy is up there for sure. I've enjoyed Matty Ryan in goals, of course, is and like Moy and Sainsbury, some of our guys that have gone on from the A-League to play for the Socceroos, which has been great to see. I've actually liked some of our Scottish imports in Harry Suter. Hopefully you get back to the pitch soon, mate. And Martin Boyle as well. You know, they're really great and they're really keen to play for the national team, even though they're probably Scottish citizens. But that's okay.
What about kind of all-time Aussies? You know, if you look back all the time you've been a football fan, who are some of your favourite Aussie footballers?
Yeah, that opens it up a fair bit.
Yeah. I mean,
go on. You go.
For me, early on, like I'm a Celtic fan because of Mark Viduka. I think Viduka was one of my all-time favourites. Just watching him play was unreal. He was such a good player. So I love Dukes, and I love Scotty McDonald at Celtic as well. And then Nicky Carl actually is one of my favourite. I loved watching him play. I thought he should have gotten so much more time for the Socceroos. I think he and Holman just stand out as these awesome attacking midfielders who never quite were loved by people. I thought Nicky was great. I don't know. I was always interested in those kind of more attacking kind of players. Brett Emerton as well was a bit of a favourite of mine. Yeah, they're probably the three.
I think Viduka comes to mind straight away. Probably someone that really excelled as a striker at the club level. Probably didn't hit his strides for the national team. Bresciano, I think everyone loves Bresciano.
The original pasty peel,
Not as pasty. I think someone like Harry Kewell. Imagine if he didn't get injured all the time. Just the kind of player he could have been. He could have been up there and one of the best in his generation. I really do think that, if he wasn't getting injured all the time. But, that's just how some careers go. They're just blighted by injuries. And obviously Timmy Cahill, most goals ever scored for the national team. Mark Schwarzer. Yeah. I think we've just got a knack of making a lot of great goalkeepers. Schwarzer, Matty Ryan.
The golden generation. Everyone's got a soft spot for. We made the World Cup and it was just what a team.
Yeah. There's so many. To pick one, probably Viduka, maybe Kewell, one of the others. But
I'd say Viduka is probably my all-time favourite Aussie footballer.
And now he's over in Croatia, running a coffee shop.
Yeah, I want to visit one day. That would be awesome.
So I've just travelled 2,000 kilometres just to say, hey mate, come get a coffee. So, probably more than 2,000 kilometres.
2,000 kilometres you wouldn't even get out in New South Wales.
No, it's probably 17,000. Anyway, Ivan on Twitter has asked us, what's your view on Jake Brimmer for a national team call-up? He reckons if he continues to be this consistent, at the very least he makes the squad in January. I'll let you answer this question.
I think there's probably about 7 other midfielders who stand in his way. Look, I was a big fan of Brimmer last season. I think he was one of the only players who played with any heart for victory last season, and he's continued that on this season. People are now going, oh, Jake Brimmer's all right, isn't he? I think I mentioned that last season in a video. I think he's doing well, absolutely. Is he the best centre midfielder in the A-League right now? I think Connor Metcalf is better.
James Troisi.
No, sorry. No, I don't think he's... And then you've got people like Riley McGree, Jimmy Jago should definitely get more chance at national. I can't believe James Holland doesn't get more chances for the national team. You've got...
Arnie likes his favourites.
Yeah, and look, Moy...
that's how it goes sometimes.
Moy maybe shouldn't, he hasn't been playing enough, maybe shouldn't be in, but his quality is still better than a Brimmer. Brimmer's an attacking... he's got energy, he can defend, he can attack. I think there's lots to like about him. I just don't think he's quite there. I think there's too many quality players in front of him for a national team call-out.
Yeah, maybe one day if he keeps going, for sure. But I think Arnold does have a bit of a knack of picking his favourites, which is a bit disappointing. It does affect people like Jago, and hopefully Atkinson actually gets a look in January. Yeah, because he definitely deserves it. But maybe with a better coach, we'll get a better call-up one day. But anyway,
we'll see.
Let's move on. So we're moving on to some of our final questions now. James on Instagram has asked us, do you think the A-League should be postponed? I think deep down we don't want it to be postponed. I think everyone can say that. We don't want it to be postponed.
Yeah.
Will it?
Should it? Maybe.
Well, there's only one game, I think, going ahead on this weekend that we're recording. But do we think it should? I mean, without the need of getting too political in decisions that our government makes. we were promised, which was probably a bit of a false promise, that once we get these vaccination rates up, life will go back to normal, which never really was the case, and yet life doesn't really feel particularly normal. It actually feels even more difficult, more challenging when you drive past a COVID testing clinic and the cars are just pouring back blocks and blocks. And so, have we really got back to normal? Yeah. No, we haven't. But half me thinks, well, let's just play. Yeah, you might have 6 players out, but you have a junior team, you have an academy team. Let's get on with playing the football.
Sure, although we're not like England where there's 40 really good youngsters. Like, I don't think we quite have the depth in Australia, especially with our squads are limited at 23 players.
I think maybe we're just going to have to, not necessarily hub, but I think the players themselves are going to go, well, this is what the government rules are, but we're going to go to a heightened level. We're not going to allow our players to go out in the community like that. I think that's really the only way you're going to really stop the players getting COVID all the time, because I don't think it's sustainable letting them going about at a normal way. And I don't think the A-League can afford a hub, and I don't think the hub for the A-League is going to really work. I think for the AFL and NRL, where there is, I just think, the NRL and AFL are a lot more popular, and having all the teams based in one city actually works. I don't think it's going to work for the A-League. I don't think it's going to get the crowds.
I think at this stage, maybe it should be a month postponement. Put it off for a month, work on 2 contingency plans, figure out a hub, and then you've got a month to organise it and make it work, or figure out if things are going to go back to normal, what it looks like. But I think maybe playing 1 game a week, I think it should just, for the sake of the competition, put it on pause and then bring it back when it can actually work. Because otherwise it's just, could be messy.
Yeah. Hopefully it all works out soon. Hopefully COVID just magically disappears.
Yeah.
Anyway, our final question is Dylan from Instagram, and he says, where do you think the Mariners will finish?
Yeah, look,
they'll finish on the ladder.
We weren't kind about them at the start of the season. We didn't think they were going to do what they did last season.
Did you pick them second last?
I think so.
Yeah, I think maybe we were a little bit harsh on them, because we just thought, they had a really good season, that's a one-off, they're just going to go back to being crap again.
I don't think they're as good as last season, but they've gotten some good results. They beat Sydney again this season. They beat the Wanderers.
Whatever, anyone beat the Wanderers. Wanderers can beat themselves.
So I think they're in a good position. Maybe they're in the fight for the top 6 come the end of the season. I reckon they're 5th, 6th, 7th is probably
the challenge when we actually go into, because we've split the draw in half.
Yeah.
When they start actually playing the likes of City and Victory, I think that's going to be telling for a lot of the teams. Like Sydney FC, that's going to be telling too for them. But yeah, I think they're definitely worth a shout to make the 6. I think they'll be there or thereabouts towards the end of the season.
Yeah. Alrighty, well that's all.
Hang on. There's one more question here.
There is?
Owen on Facebook has asked us, what are your real jobs? Our real jobs are doing this. So we're not paid. So help us get to 1,000 subscribers so we can start monetizing. But I believe it's not that much anyway. So
yeah, no. Imagine if this was our job. Oh, beauty. No.
Anyway. That wraps up our inaugural Q&A on the Couch Critics. So I hope you really enjoy that. I think I might do some timestamps for the video. I think that'll help. If you've asked a question, you just want to see the answer, you can skip straight to it. But still, check out the whole video. That'd be great. Yeah.
Thanks so much for watching the Couch Critics, for interacting with us on all of our socials. We really appreciate it. We hope that 2021 has been an awesome year for you. COVID, in the way, but we're hoping next year keeps going, and we are going to keep watching the A-League. We hope you continue to watch Aussie football and continue to watch Couch Critics in 2022 to find out and just have a chat about football. Yeah, we've enjoyed it. Hope you have too. We'll see you next time.
See ya.